September is only a couple of days away, and if you are an artist or a crafty person in general, you know what that means. It is time to make gifts. So today I am sharing with you 20 unique and highly specific gift ideas that you can give to others as an artist. Today's video is specifically targeted towards artists in the more traditional sense, so that is anybody who can draw, paint, etc. But I will be doing multiple videos as part of an installment that will give you ideas for a variety of different mediums, including crochet. That's the one that I'm writing up next, but let's go ahead and get into today's list of ideas to get your brain rolling. And by the way, most, if not all, of these will be gender neutral, so they could be given to really any gift recipient. They're more tailored to the person's tastes rather than being traditionally girly or boyish. Okay, the first idea is a art photo book. The concept is you buy a regular, insert photo album, but for some of the memories that you might not have captured on camera with the person that you're giving it to, you instead would paint a picture of you guys enjoying that memory together. Or if you do digital art, then you would paint it digitally and then print it digitally to fit the size of the photo slots in the photo album. I've done this before. It was a really big hit with the person I gave it to. So yeah, for every 4 to 5 photos that I printed of us together and just put in the photo album normally, I would say I had about one painting or drawing that was of a memory that we didn't take pictures of, but we both would remember. And it could potentially even work as a last-minute gift, because if you just fill out one page, which is pretty easy, but then you leave a note that says, I'm gonna do monthly installments of this, that's how you can make it very personal and very sweet, but not too time-consuming. Specific style portraits. Do you know someone who loves, say, Peanuts, South Park, Coraline? I bet they would go absolutely nuts to see themselves or their pet or their family drawn up in that art style. When I say specific style portrait, I mean pick out a specific style from a piece of media with an iconic, recognizable art style and then recreate, like I said, the recipient, their family, their pet, whatever, in that art style. And what you can also do to add a little extra level of fun to this is, for example, if the person really likes Peanuts, you can do an actual mini 3-panel comic strip of that person in the Peanuts comic art style. If they like South Park, you can make a little paper model. If they like Coraline, possibly consider doing a little clay molded version of themselves. Or maybe you could also get away with like felt and some buttons sewn on. So this has a lot of range. You can do a lot of things with this. Decor friendly posters. I love myself a Hatsune Miku poster, but I love it even more when it matches the colors that are in my living room. This is great for somebody who really cares deeply about their interior decor, which I do. If they have a specific franchise they love, you can pick out a poster from that franchise. Maybe this is cheating. I don't feel like it is, because I'm just trying to adjust the colors to match their decor. But what I do personally is I actually will just print out like the poster. I'll do that thing where you charcoal the back and then you trace it onto the canvas, and sometimes I'll do it in pieces if I'm doing like a really big canvas, so that I get the outline down onto the canvas. Normally I would say start from scratch, but if you're literally just trying to recreate a poster with a different color scheme, I say go for the tracing. Or some people do like the augmented reality or a projector or a light box. That's just my recommendation, because this can also really be easily turned into a last minute gift idea if you have something that'll help you easily trace a design of a poster down onto a canvas, because then you just have to paint, and that's usually the easy part. Fictional family or friend group poster. I forgot to include this while recording, so you guys just get a voiceover, but the idea is, depending on what your family or friend group enjoys, you can recreate their likeness in a fictional poster. So for example, if your partner loves Turner Classic Movies, recreate a Citizen Kane or Casablanca style movie poster with your faces on it. If your friend group loves musical theater, you can recreate everyone in place of one of your favorite shows. So if there are 3 of you, you can be the Heathers. Something like that. I've actually done this before, and again, really big hit. A painted vinyl, usually to complement another gift, a music-related gift. I love painting vinyls, but when I say complimentary, I mean, let's say you're gifting somebody a record for Christmas, grab yourself another record and then paint it themed to match the music that they like or the music that you gifted them. And let me clarify, do not buy a new record and paint that. I'm sure you're aware. But when you paint records, you want to find some from a garage sale, maybe go online on eBay, find an old record that is so scratched up it will never be used or loved again, and paint that, and then gift them a nice new record. And I think that these gifts going together are really, really cute because they get music out of it, and if they like to hang things up, they get a piece of art that celebrates that music along with it. Tote bags. I won't drag this one out. Pretty self-explanatory, but painting tote bags can turn out really cute and really specialized, especially if a particular franchise that your gift recipient likes does not have accompanying merch to go along with it, so they'll get some one-of-a-kind merch. Doctor up a thrifted piece of art. So this is cute to me, but some people may find this tacky, so just know your audience with this one. People will find a piece of art from a thrift store and then add something into it that doesn't belong there but looks really cute. Once again, this is great as a last-minute gift idea because you're not starting from scratch and it can be done pretty quickly, but like I said, just know your audience because they might not like the Bob Ross style painting with like a stormtrooper in it. Illustrative pen paling. Now and again, I call it pen paling, but it's really just sending letters to my loved ones, my family and friends. But something really fun to do, I've only done this a couple times, I need to do it more, is you take up a good amount of your letter with just a portrait of that person or anything. You can draw anything. But what's fun about this is that they get like a little updated portrait of themselves as the months or years go by. I think it's really, really cute and special and heartfelt. So again, this is one of those gifts that continues to give, and it can be last minute because you can gift somebody on Christmas Day a letter with a proposal to send them letters throughout the year. Like you can gift them the first letter and then say, I'm going to send you one of these every month or every quarter or every semester. Bonus, you can also elevate this by maybe painting them a little home mailbox with a slot in the top, one of those little wood boxes. That's just an idea. A royal pet portrait. So I'm not doing any research for this video. I literally just have a list of ideas that I came up with off the top of my head. But this definitely has been done before because I've definitely in the past seen people post them doing portraits of their pets. I've done this and I've already had a family member ask if I can do it for them, and it's a lot of fun, so of course I will be doing it. Anybody would love to see their pet look like a little lord or lady. It's a winner. Complimentary gifts. Okay, so we're at the halfway point, so I'm kind of throwing in one of the more abstract ideas. This is going to require more creativity on your half, and it's going to require you to know the person a little better. When I say a complimentary gift, I mean something that complements what they personally enjoy, specifically a hobby or a talent, something that they do. So for example, if your friend or recipient writes stories, you could ask them for a copy of one of their stories, get it typed up all nice, and then go in and illustrate a few of the pages. And then they have a little handmade, artist-made physical copy of their story with illustrations in it. If the recipient likes jewelry, you could hand paint them a jewelry box or a bead carrying box. Basically whatever they like to do, you will encourage them to continue doing that thing, and you will make it more fun and meaningful for them to do that thing by creating something that aids their process or celebrates their work. A house portrait. While recording this, I realized that this also could be applied to cars as well, if you have somebody that's really into cars and maybe doesn't have a house yet. So a house portrait is just what it sounds like, and it's definitely good for, I would say, if you're just meeting like maybe someone's parents or grandparents or extended family and they're all more older generations, this is a big hit with them. It's very, very simple. The front of that person's home, the front of it, you just illustrate it or paint it in whatever style you like. Bonus points if you can add in elements that really make it their personalized home. And like I said, this can also apply to cars, which is probably better with somebody a little younger because, you know, not a lot of us are able to buy houses. Oh, and I'm looking at my notes. Okay, another idea. This is really intricate. This is not a last minute gift idea, but you could take it a step further and do like a wooden dollhouse, but you could do an actual replica of their home. So, you know, just giving you ideas. A custom book sleeve or book cover. So I actually don't know how you would go about constructing a book sleeve. I guess you could probably digitally print one and then laminate it as long as it's the same size as the original book sleeve. Either way, the idea is taking a hardcover book that the recipient really likes or means a lot to them, and if you want to do the book sleeve thing, then you can do the book sleeve thing, or you can paint the hardcover and seal it with a sealant of some kind. Like I said, I didn't do a whole lot of research for this video, but I think I've seen this one done before as well, so there definitely will be resources online for how to go about doing this. But I would definitely paint maybe a cute mural on the front of the book that is appropriate with the book's themes. So again, something that would mean a lot to that person and still complement the gift that you're giving them, which is maybe like a special edition of one of their favorite favorite books. Micro painting. So when I say micro painting, in my head, I'm specifically thinking of the two things that I have painted before, which are magic cards and jewelry charms. Think about something that could be condensed into something small that that person likes and consider a micro painting, because those are really impressive and hard to come by, especially with the magic cards. Not a lot of people do that, so if you have somebody that likes tabletop games, it could be Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever, you could find a card, preferably not an expensive one, and then custom paint something on in place of the art that comes with the card. I'm sure they would go bonkers for that because us tabletop players are pretty intense about our games. And then the same thing goes with the jewelry charms. I have more videos on my page up of how I do those, so you should check those out. And they're really, really simple. They're just air dry. You should watch the video. Custom playing cards. This is not the same thing as micro painting a playing card that already exists, but you can go about printing playing cards, like, you know, an actual deck of playing cards. You can put your family, friends, pets, whatever. You can put people's faces in place of the face cards, or maybe you design like Hatsune Miku playing cards. This idea and a couple of the upcoming ideas are better suited for a digital medium. If you are a digital artist, you'll probably have an easier time with this because you'll have high resolution versions of your art that are easy to upload to a printing platform like a third-party printer. And most of these ideas coming up are third-party printing, but with your own art implemented into it. So it can be a little pricey to do third-party printing. What I recommend is if you're going to do this and some of the upcoming ideas, you sort of isolate that gift as that year's big gift that you give to everyone. Because if you try and do this in combination with other things, it can get pretty pricey to do these custom printed items, especially if you're only getting one or two of them, because usually you're gonna want to order in bulk because you're ordering anyways, and you can save on shipping costs. A custom calendar. I've done this before. It was a huge hit. The idea is pretty straightforward. Something that is relevant to the recipient that they would enjoy. You can design 12 individual artworks for each month of the year, and then you can print them out into calendars through a third-party printing. And this is a great maybe family reunion gift because you can hand one out to everyone and everyone will have art that is relevant to the family or the friend group or whatever. a live service coupon. Giving someone an IOU feels kind of cheap sometimes, so this is an IOU with extra steps that doesn't feel like an IOU because it literally requires the person to schedule the gift in order for them to receive the gift. So it feels very natural and it still feels very heartfelt, but it's great for a last minute, especially if you have literally nothing to give them. If you want to, for example, paint someone's portrait, you can say 1 free coupon for me to paint your portrait. Now, to explain where the live service comes in is, let's say you know someone who's going to have a wedding soon, or a baby shower, or maybe a really elaborate birthday party. There are a lot of ways that artists can provide their services to a sort of live audience. You know, we've seen the wedding painters and people that will paint live caricatures or portraits of people, you know, as they're at the party or gathering or whatever. Offer that service and have this sort of nicely illustrated little almost flyer looking coupon that is specific for that person, and make sure to mention your dates of when you would be available for it and tell them to contact you, you know, a good amount of time ahead of time. But you're basically saying, I will do this really cool thing for you for free. Cash it in when you're ready. That is a great last minute gift that doesn't feel like a last minute gift because that's a pretty sweet and sentimental thing that you are offering up. Recipe cards or a recipe book. So I own one of those boxes that are full of recipe cards, and what's really fun about them is you can just pull one out anytime somebody asks what you did to make the food taste the way that it tastes. You can just whip one of those out and write down the details and hand it over. It's really cute. I've done it a few times and I feel so good doing it. It's just a fun feeling. I would recommend to turn this into a gift for someone else. You would buy them a little box and fill out recipe cards throughout the year with recipes you think that they would like and send them to them. Or maybe do them all at once if you want. You can do that too, but that sounds like a lot of work. So this is another one of those gifts throughout the year that are kind of last minute because it's promising future installments being sent to that person.
Hi, editing me here. I'm popping in to say that I completely forgot to mention the whole point of the recipe cards is to illustrate the food on the recipe cards, or maybe the gift recipient enjoying the food. Some sort of illustration or painting or artistic flair, not solely just information. And that goes for the recipe book, which I'm about to explain as well.
Alternatively, if you didn't want to do a box, something I did do that is really, really cute is you could do a recipe book, especially one that is full of recipes that you and that person have shared together that you really like. And you can create placeholders for the recipe cards to be put in when the recipient receives them, or you can fill out the book yourself with the recipes and you can paste in photos of the food or you and the recipient enjoying the food together. This was a really, really big hit with the person that I sent it to. Memory map. Okay, so the idea of a memory map is you plot out a place that you and the person that you're gifting this to have been together, or maybe your hometown if you guys both live there, or honestly maybe just make up a place. This can be a fictional map, but the idea is that you plot out different memories on the map and draw you and the recipient at those different little stations, if this is making sense. It's sort of like a 100 Acre Woods vibe where, you know, you see Winnie the Pooh on all the little areas of the map and they're kind of doing things in different spots on the map. So you could write, we took a trip to the museum, and then you can draw the little museum and then draw it. And then we took a trip to the recipient's house, and you can draw the two of you at the house, like playing a game or whatever. And it's a very cute storybooky way to draw all of your memories together in one place, and it can be a very sort of cartoonish, whimsical illustration, so you don't have to spend forever making it. You get the picture. It's cute. A custom coloring book. The idea is pretty straightforward. You draw outlines of cute things that are relevant to the person that you're giving it to, and it's there for them to color if they so choose. And if you want to get it printed into an actual book, again, that might be pricey, but if it's the only thing you're doing that year and you're giving it to a lot of people, it's probably worth it. My last idea is fictional art / framed photo recreations. I debated even including this in the video because it is so highly specific, but it is such a good idea. And I am literally just going to read from my notes because this is my longest section and I want to get this down right. The basic premise is to find a fictional artwork or photograph that is recognizable from a particular piece of media, usually a movie or show, that your recipient will recognize, and recreate it either exactly or more customized. For example, the final scene in The Shining depicts this photograph of a party at the Overlook Hotel with Jack Torrance at the forefront. If I was gifted a painted or drawn version of this, that would be pretty cool. Alternatively, you could customize the piece to incorporate the recipient. So if you would like, your friend could be swapped out for Mr. Torrance. A few other examples of this kind of fictional, iconic artwork or photograph phenomenon that come to mind for me include the hanging photos in the intro of Curse of the Were-Rabbit, where, you know, Gromit's like a little baby. Oh, so cute. The hanging painting in Coraline when she switches back and forth between the living room of the two worlds. The portraits hanging in Hogwarts, the Kramer from Seinfeld, just to name a few. Bonus points, by the way, if you can manage to make some of these recreations size accurate to what they are in the media. Now, I do understand that painting up a whole portrait or scene can be a lot of work, so maybe utilize Photoshop and then just get your Photoshop work printed and framed and gift it to them that way. Okay, well that is, I think, all the ideas I have for now. If I come up with any more, they'll be included in future installments of this little series. And if you try any of these, I would love to see your creations. Sorry I wasn't posting for a little while. I was a little jet lagged from my trip, but I will be back to posting weekly, and yeah, that's it. Bye!